I don't know.
Okay, we are now. Here we go.
We're live now. We're live now.
1, 4, 5. We are officially live. Hello, everybody. I'm so super excited to be with you guys tonight, Sunday night, actually live from Nashville. I just got back to Nashville, and I'm here with my dear friend, Ford Fairchild, the one and only. Well, you have so many titles, but tonight we're specifically talking about all things music video, Whatcha Drinkin Bout, director, mastermind behind all things.
Jeez, thanks.
It's awesome to have you here.
By the way, your hair looks amazing, as always. You're always level 10 gorgeous. You look amazing. Wow.
You don't know how many ring lights are. You know how many ring lights it takes to. Well, actually, you do know how many lights it takes.
I know.
What's really cool is Ford, you're in Nashville though right now too, right? Mm-hmm. So we're doing this virtually as with everything, and we've got a lot of people watching. So hi, Sherry and Gail and Chip and Ashley and Dawn and Sam and Missy. We got a whole crew tonight. Chris and Danny.
Oh, wow. I'm just now seeing the live comments. Oh my gosh.
I know, it's so awesome. So while we're kind of doing a little, talking about all the fun little moments in the video, if you guys have any questions you want to post to either Ford or myself, please put them in the comments and we'll be sure to ask. This is going to be a lot of fun. So my first question to you really is, when you first heard the song, what was it for you? Like, okay, I have to do this, and this is going to be beyond epic.
I think the first time that I heard the song, I immediately was just like, oh my gosh, for me, it was just like, what's my reason for going to the bar tonight? And so yeah. I really just latched onto that immediately. And so I think that that's where you and I started blossoming with our ideas. You always see there's always the token sad person. There's always, the really overly enthusiastic group, and then obviously in Nashville, we're very used to seeing, brides, bachelorette parties and bachelor parties everywhere. And so I think, and then obviously with, when you and I got together and just started going back and forth on ideas, it just kind of took off into what it turned into.
So much fun. And I mean, I just know how many times I've watched the video, and just even like catching all these little moments that, we were in the thick of it. I mean, we shot all night long,
All night.
October, like,
has that been that? Yeah, I guess that. God, that's
crazy all night long. And it was a Sunday night, I believe.
It was a Sunday night, and it was so funny because the creative process, I remember, between, you and I and your team, my team, and all of that, everything was just so flawless. And we knew this was going to be a great video. We knew, from the start that it was going to be great. And then of course, Sunday rolls around, production day, and all of the obstacles that we could have possibly had, show up. Like, I remember, just that was the worst rainstorm I have ever driven through in my life. Still,
that was crazy.
It was crazy. And I think that there were tornado warnings all around us, and we were just, like, oh, off to Memphis.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just catering not showing up, after that, confirming that a million times, which, by the way, that ended up being a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
And then, of course, the fire alarms.
Let's just go back to driving. So for those that aren't, let's just go back a little bit. So there's so much time that goes into the creative process, from, casting to all the different elements that we'll talk about a little further in to our conversation tonight. But also, like, how do you get from Nashville to Memphis, Tennessee? So for those that aren't familiar with Memphis, there's this giant pyramid, which inside is one of the largest Bass Pro shops. And, we're partners with Bass Pro and Big Cypress Lodge. Like, remember this? Does this look familiar? We'll talk about this in a little bit.
Yes.
And it's like this beautiful lodge inside the pyramid, which has the Bass Pro. It's all in there. So it's just like, it's like Disneyland for grownups. And so, we're like, all right, we're going to Memphis. It's only a couple hours away. were you in the Sprinter where it was like raining inside?
No, my producer Brian and I were in my truck.
Okay.
And my team was following behind us, and then I think you guys were ahead of us, or you weren't in the Sprinter. Your team was ahead of us, and I remember Carly giving us a call and being like, "Hey, we're having some problems. We're gonna keep trucking though. We're doing fine. We're doing fine."
Yeah.
And we were like, "Okay, let's go." and then it was like, "Never mind. This is a huge issue." So
it's raining inside the car.
yeah, it's literally pouring down rain inside, and I remember Brian and I being like, "What? How can it possibly be raining from the roof of a van?" And he was like, he kind of connected the dots, like, "Oh my gosh, the air conditioning unit. We gotta pull over." So we pulled over, and sure enough, they had like gotten this like a trash bag and tried to rig it up to the top of the air conditioned vent, and it was still just pouring down rain into that car. And I mean, it's so funny. And hi, Dad. And and I think that was so crazy. But what really stuck out to me about the Sprinter in the car and raining, everyone on your team was totally fine with it. Like, I feel like I would have definitely been a diva and like, where's the plan B? You know? And everyone was just like, we're just gonna roll with it. Let's go. Let's get there. Memphis,
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's definitely one thing that I mean, not one of the many things that I am so proud of our team for is, and you too, because you say that you're diva, but not at all. I think that I think what was so fun about that night too is that the key of the video was really to share the fun and all these different personality moments and let these characters come alive, where they almost took on their own life, each one of them in their own, where like even you and I would be like, watch it, we're like, this is like there's
I don't have to say, I'm not gonna say anything. And you know me, I am very I direct, almost over direct sometimes. And so I definitely, when I have a vision and want it, I am gonna let you know what I want.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, everybody that we cast just seemed to just like, take that first bit of direction on the first take, and then just like, oh, that was perfect. Yeah. That was way more than I even expected. So I could not be happier with what we got.
Completely. Oh, so Sherry has a question for you. So what other music videos have you been involved with?
I shot, I've had some really great opportunities over the years. I kind of jumped into the video game like 5 years ago, and with my former partner, Christina Cooper. I think you know her from CMT.
I do.
And we got to do Jimmy Allen's first music video for Best Shot.
Amazing.
And that was another one where he really had this vision. He didn't want to do a cookie cutter kind of country video, which we've all seen those, right. And he had a really great concept that ended up getting nominated for Breakthrough Video of the Year for the CMTs, I think in 2018. So that was like mind blowing. I was so excited about that. And then the rock band Greta Van Fleet, Christina and I did their video for Highway Tune. And that was the first time they had ever done anything big in front of the camera. And we were like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to be massive. And now they're huge and best buddies with Elton John. And
casual.
Yeah, I've got a lot of really fun things that I'm in the work with right now. But can't really talk about them yet.
No. We'll can't talk about some things in a few too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it would be fun to share some of our Easter eggs as we're kind of going through. Maybe not do the whole reveal, because I know we're going to share that with everyone in a few of our little video. But you surprised me with some Easter eggs that I didn't even like. I mean, I'd heard that there might be some things, but I brought a couple of them to show because I thought, it'd be.
Have them? Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? So this is probably my favorite. And if there is a beer company out there that would like to create this with us, we are totally down. But as we all know, the family is called the Flock of Quayle. And Ford had these made up. Can you all see it? It says Flock here.
They look so legit.
They look so legit. I've honestly considered just like filling them up with something just so I can carry it around. I like those called light dark lager.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
That's so funny.
I contemplated getting, going back and forth between being really exact, with everything. And then I was like, wait a minute. No, we're very on the nose with this video. I want a light, dark lager.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
The
like,
flock on it.
Yeah, it's like a decaf espresso.
And when I really have to give props to our set designer, Raina Gear, that night. A lot of those ideas really came from her, and she absolutely killed it. I mean, she's one of those people that you just like, hey, I want to recreate Mount Rushmore in 24 hours, and she'll just do it. She'll say,
okay, no problem. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it, but the flock, that idea, I was like, hey, how are we going to draw on this bottle? And she was like, oh, honey, I'm going to make some custom labels. We're going to have our own beer.
No, I mean, I love it. I look at it every day, and it just brings me so much joy. I mean, even down to the coasters. So these are the coasters from Big Seven Lodge, and you had this on the back, If I Was a Cowboy. So sneaky. Premium spirits. That's right. I love it. I love it so much. Was there a moment in it that you were like, okay, this throughout you were like, oh, I just want to get one more thing? Did you feel like we got all the little moments that you were hoping for and more? Like, was there anything that you're like, oh, we got to catch that, and then you went and back and grabbed it?
No, I feel like we really nailed it because, when you know how you can talk about things a million times, and then when they actually come together on set, there's always something that's going to change directions no matter what, or there's always going to be, an obstacle or whatever. And so I think for us, we had plenty of those that day, obviously, but I really think that everyone, not everybody really understood that we were really trying to, hide and like they didn't really get it until we got to set, and they were like, oh, I get it now, whatever. So I think all of our cast and all the crew members and everything, they really were like, oh, let's add more. And so I think the one that I'm most excited about that happened is the big fish. That photo is actually me holding a fish, and we just cropped in, and that was a fish that I caught with my parents in Thanksgiving a few years back. And I was just really excited that I got those points to be able to show that fish off on camera.
So fun. I think a favorite Easter egg of mine is that, David playing my cowboy, which in real life, he is my cowboy. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that he was in the If I Was a Cowboy video.
Yeah.
And so for those that are like, wait, what? You just got to go find him, screenshot it, and DM me. Let me see if you can find him in there. But he was so great on camera.
Oh,
and he had like zero experience. He loves it. Like, he's pro level. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I mean, Ford, like, one of my favorite things has been, because I've been quarantined back in North Carolina quite a bit over the last 5 months. And I've had so many people go, how about David Couch in your music video? And I'm like, yeah, I know.
My husband.
They're like, oh, yes. Hey, hi.
I think that, I'm sure that your fans have seen David all over your social media, but, he definitely packs a presence when he walks in. Everyone's like, buttons up with him. And he's, of course, the coolest guy ever. But I was, he made me a little nervous. I was like, oh my gosh. Hi. And then he gets in front of the camera, and I was just, he was, he's got that mysterious cowboy thing. It's a very authentic, role that he's been playing in your music. And of course, he gets in front of the camera, and then Superstar turns on.
And I mean, the funny thing is I wasn't acting trying to get his attention.
Yeah. Oh no, that was all real. That was all real.
Yeah.
And can we touch on that point for just a second? Like
My favorite part.
All of Stephanie's like hair flips and all of the little antics throughout the video, I did not coach a single one of those.
Oh
and
gosh.
I knew by that point, we had been shooting, we were kind of getting in our groove, everything was working. And I remember thinking like, you know what, like this girl, she's gonna get it. I'm just gonna get my guys to roll and just say, Stephanie, I need you to obnoxiously get his attention. You got it. And you were like, oh yeah, sure, let's go. And
I got it for the hair whip.
I think that was the longest quiet time that I had the whole set, was just watching you do that. Partially because I was belly laughing so hard the whole time. But oh my gosh, you murdered it. I couldn't have asked you to do those things. You can't coach somebody into helicopter whipping their hair and then dipping behind the bar. I loved it so much.
It was so much fun. So much fun. And I don't know if you knew this, but when we first started recording the EP for If I Was a Cowboy, one of the ideas was to have an alcohol tied to every single song. And I wonder how many people caught this bottle that you so majestically placed. And this is real. This is a real bottle.
You got really good at the product placement in this, didn't you?
I mean, this is really cool. So we found this because it was the same title as Untitled. And we reached out to them and said, hey, can we shamelessly, secretly Easter egg your wine?
Shamelessly plug your wine in this.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So should we let them watch the little Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Ella, roll the tape.
Stephanie really wanted this video to kind of encompass everything on her brand new EP that just came out. And so we tried to really just kind of like hide things throughout the video that would at least give some meaning to every song on the album. And so you can catch some maybe song titles here and there. You can definitely catch the vibe of every song on the album. I had a lot of fun just kind of like hiding things all over the place and drinking about a lot of things.
Should I get you another round? Slow that jukebox down.
I'm a sad. I'm a sad drunk. Bar. He's coming right here. Get my night going great.
The Bachelorette.
We're the second rodeo. Second rodeo.
With the bride.
Well, I'm playing a biker right now. The difference between playing a biker and being a biker is his makeup. Like, if I take his makeup off, I'm really a biker, but if you put it on, I'm playing a biker.
Got it.
Boy, let's talk it out. Did you lose?
There's so many personalities, there's so many vignettes that you'll really have to watch this video multiple times to catch all the nuance. And that's what I love about this video. We have 3 minutes to make a mini movie.
Drinking bout.
How big was the fish?
I mean, I just it was so much fun making that video. I mean, I think for me, how our bachelorettes came about, Amy, who works with all of us, we're like, hey, this is what we're going to try to do. And she's like, oh, let me call my friend. And, her mom lives in Memphis. And then we get a picture of this friend group and we're like, these are our bachelorettes. And honestly, like, I know, like, they stole the show. I couldn't stop watching them and they had so much fun. And I mean, honestly, at the end of it, what time? It was like 8 a.m. after we'd been shooting for like all night long. I like lay down on the floor and they're like, let's keep going.
Oh, can I have some real wine now? Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. That was one of those things that never happened. You don't have characters like that, and they weren't characters, they were themselves, you know, that was yet another, you know, group, you know, literally everyone, we, you know, we got, it's almost like we just went and found the real people and pulled them off the street that night and said, come on in and be in this video, you know. And so they were so incredible. I remember, you know, unfortunately, you know, I was shooting overnight, you know, and with a, you know, that set had a lot of moving parts. And so their scenes were really, really late in the night. I think it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and they had been there since 8 o'clock. And I was getting, at that point, I was getting nervous, you know, like, oh my gosh, I really need a lot of high energy. I need this to be great. And I was worried about them and basically everybody that we had to shoot at the end of the night. Cause how are you supposed to be live and energetic? And of course, just walk over to their table like, hey ladies, how's it going? How are y'all feeling? And they're like, we're great. This is awesome. Like, can we get some real wine? I guess that they were like hunting down the wine, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so I had one of my PAs bring over a couple of bottles, and then they really got into character.
That was not sweet tea.
No. And that was one of my favorite things that we had. You know, obviously you've done plenty of music videos. You know, when there's drinking, you have to film the scene. You know, if you take a shot, you got to film it 15 times. And so if you take 15 shots back to back like that, you're out, you're dead, you know. So we use props, and so obviously sweet tea was the perfect one. And sometimes you got to dilute it or add more, you got to do all these things to fake it. And so the funny thing is that you and David actually had, so I think David brought an actual bottle of whiskey. He had one hanging around.
We had Running Iron from Montana.
Yeah.
We had this in it. And this is really cool. A lot of people don't know this. I don't even know if you, I think you remember, but my little brother's brand and my stepson's brand are on the inside of this bottle. I'll try to like zoom in. Can you see all the brands on the inside of the bottle? So those are real brands from Montana. And it's pretty cool. So this is awesome.
I can't even deal with it.
I'm sorry?
You have so many tricks up your sleeves, I can't even deal with it.
Just you know, gotta keep it interesting.
But what I thought was so funny about the whiskey is that, you know, at some point, I don't know how it happened, but the actual whiskey shots and the sweet tea shots got mixed up on the same tray. And so we brought it over to the second rodeo bachelorettes and like, here, you know, hey guys, this is just sweet tea. This isn't, you know, don't be worried about it. And then like 3 of them took it. We're like, what the hell is going on? And we were like, no, that wasn't, we didn't give you. And they were like, yes, you did. And sure enough, you could smell it. They had definitely taken some shots. And they were like, it's great. We can totally do another one. And we were like, no, we're gonna cool it.
It is. I mean, to your point, you know, you think about food commercials, or you think about videos where there is drinking and eating in movies and films. Like, so many things go into every single scene. And I think what you did so beautifully is you took, I mean, we created this like mini movie and compacted it all in to just a few minutes. Do you find that in that format, when you have a shorter amount of time where you have to put so many edits in to make it all make sense, do you find that easier, or do you or is long form because you get to roll it out with more time? Like, what do you prefer?
Honestly, I definitely prefer short form. You know, for me, I've never really, I don't know if this is going to change, but I don't really ever see myself wanting to make movies or any long form anything ever in my career. I really just want to stick to music. And so I don't know if that's going to change, but right now that's not a part of my plans. But for me, I really love kind of compressing it down. And I think one of the main reasons that I love that so much is that music videos are, you know, there's a lot more creative, you have a lot of artistic freedom in a music video that you definitely don't in a documentary or a movie, you know, following a major storyline. But in a music video, it's kind of, you're living in this different world. It's kind of an overview, the cliff notes of whatever event is going on. And so you get a lot of, you know, you get a lot of play to be able to bounce back and forth. And so if you can get it exactly right, that's great. But I think that, you know, for this video, for example, you know, the fact that we were able to be so on the nose, you know, and so dramatic and crazy, you know, that, you know, that would, if we were doing that in an actual movie, that would have been really cheesy. But for this music video, it really just drove everything home, you know. So that's, of course, why I love it. I definitely love the short form that way. Yeah.
I've always loved music videos. And even when I really like first started, I just wanted to capture it visually, because I think that as a songwriter, I'm a very visual person when I'm writing. And I feel like if I can write the visual, then I can make it all make sense in my head. And this one just takes it to whole new levels. Like every time I go into a bar now, I'm looking around for like, oh, that, like all our characters, right? Like even the Evel Knievel couple, you know, they've got on their little, you know, their Harley patches, and they're, you know, they're having their little relationship, and you like go into bars now and you're like, oh, that's them.
People over there. There's the bachelorette party.
Yeah.
There's the sad guy. There's the drama queen. Yes, absolutely. But what I really loved, my favorite thing was, I don't know if you remember this part, but when you and I were getting going, you know, we had all of that. We knew we had the Easter egg, you know, we knew we wanted to do that kind of stuff. We knew that we wanted to, you know, be really on the nose and make it a, you know, funny video. We wanted to make people laugh. We knew that. But for me, I remember thinking that your character was going to be a person that was at the bar and, you know, kind of like, you know, kind of just like on looking from the back of the bar kind of thing, you know? Right. And it was your idea to like, oh, no, I want to be the bartender. And I was like, fireworks. Oh my gosh, that's it. That's why we're making this video. Oh my gosh. And you absolutely, girl, you just murdered every single scene. I'm sure that I've seen it in the BTS video, the first one that you put out, but like if y'all go back and watch that, you can see that like every time Stephanie jumps in the camera, I'm just freaking out in excitement because you're just such a pro, such a pro. Like first take, just absolutely killed it. And so that was a really killer idea on your part.
Thank you. You know, when we were creating the video, I was like, well, the bartender's like the one that gets all the information. You know, our bartenders are a therapist. They're dealing with, you know, someone's bad day, someone's first date, someone's breakup, someone's date that never showed up. So I love that we were able to kind of like turn that from being an onlooker to being a part of the story, which is super, super cool. And
it was so amazing. It was so crazy. There were so many moving parts, but I just, you know that, you know, there's always that nerve-wracking part from production, right at production, when production ends to when it gets to the editing bay and everything starts coming together. You're just like, did we get everything? You know, and you always miss something, of course, but there's always that scary part of like, is this gonna actually come together the way that I think it did? Right. And this one, we didn't have that problem this time. You know, I didn't have that at all. Me and my entire team, we walked out of that shoot really knowing that like, we did something special. We've completely like surpassed all of our expectations. We shot so much more stuff that we didn't even expect, you know? And so I remember walking out of that being like, oh, this video is going to be awesome. Like, this is fun.
Like it just, you know, it's in like, you know, I think sometimes people don't know how much time, right? So how much pre-production, how much, you know, brainstorming and thought and all that time that goes into it. Then the actual shoot, which was, you know, I don't know how many hours was for 12 hours on set, but then you've got your to and from, and then editing and hours, and then colorizing and making sure that all the premiere partners, be it CMT or whomever, have to approve it and make sure that it all, so there's so much that goes into it that, you know, I think for us, like we have such an appreciation. We watch that, we're like, oh my gosh, like so much goes into each one of these. And, but every time I watch it, it makes me smile. And that was like, for me, the greatest gift with this video. Not only being one of the writers with Ryland Fisher and Joey Ebach on a song that we never saw coming to this level, you know, then hearing it in the studio and it becoming the single, and it's it's still climbing up the charts. You know? It's like, oh, I'm not done here. And just to watch it like continue to have a voice. You know, when we shot that, we weren't in the time we're in right now. You know, when we were thinking about what you're drinking about, it's like, man, what you drinking about? Well, we're all drinking about something. And now it's like, man, that phrase is so relevant in everyone's life. If you're drinking water, whiskey, you know, beer or milk or whatever.
We're drinking about a lot of things, right?
We're drinking about a lot of things. There's a lot going on. So this song has just become like such a, you know, it's always say it's like, you know, you start bopping your head, right? And you're like, okay, that's fun. I'm in it. And you start singing along. And then you start thinking about what you're drinking about. And it's like, oh, well.
Well, and see, and for me, I really love, like, it's that first 15 seconds of the song, like the drop, the dirt now. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, this is country. Yes, love it. And then if my math is right, you're about 3 drinks in. It's like, oh, I know what's about. Okay. You know, I love that. It is from the bartender's perspective, you know.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I was almost jealous that you came up with that part of it and not me.
No, I tell you what, I'm just so grateful that we got to collaborate and make something, because I think for us, like, this is just the beginning of our story. You know, we've known each other for a long time, and you know, we've got to be in each other's worlds, like, hey, Ford, hey, Steph.
Hey,
and this
oh
is
my God,
like,
how's it going?
we got to do something together. And this was our do something together that's leading to other do somethings together.
It is. And I am very, or do we want to talk about anything that we're
Nope. Y'all are going to have to stay tuned. What we're cooking up, because
It's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be so fun. I adore you. I miss
you.
you. I know that not too long from now, I will be seeing you.
Yes.
Not through this lens. Oh.
You can't start, then I'm going to start. No.
But thank you for doing this. And I hope everyone watching has enjoyed. Ford, I can't wait to just watch you to continue to just slay like you do.
Oh my gosh.
You're so tremendous, but most importantly, like, beyond your gifts, obviously, your heart. You're such a good human, and I adore you, and I miss you.
I miss you so much, girl. You know how much love I have for you. You are one of my favorite people to work with, and like, just stunning, always on level 10. Get it right the first shot. Like, you are the busiest person I know, by the way.
Wow. Just rocking my barn hair.
Your barn hair.
Got my barn hair in my blanket. Got my barn hair in my blanket. But I can't wait to see you next time. Everyone watching, thanks, you guys. If you are not familiar with all things Ford Fairchild, go learn, go watch all the videos, but be sure to watch What You Drink About and see if you can catch all the Easter eggs that we just talked about.
Woo! Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. Oh my gosh.
I know, we're so professional.
Yeah, wow, this is legit.
I love it. And I want to borrow that shirt because it's amazing.
Thank you.
It's really good. It's good. I'm rocking my Wrangler, of course.
I want you call it your barn hair. I want your barn hair. If I have long hair, I want it to look like that.
Just bring yourself to the barn and I'll give you all the tricks. All right. Love you. Have an amazing night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Guys, thanks.
Bye.